Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
And one more time. Hello, everyone. I forgot to unmute my
Hey, hey.
microphone. So, welcome to the Power BI quiz. And welcome to you, Ted. Uh, you're calling in from Florida, from sunny Tampa, right?
Tampa, Florida. That's
Yeah.
right. Across the pond.
And I believe it's sunny there.
It is sunny today and unbearably hot.
But you have aircon, I believe.
We do have a lot of air conditioning in Florida. Yes, we do.
Yeah. And today, the topic is Power BI embedded or embedding. And Ted, that's actually you're the world expert in this.
Yes, and to be an expert, you pick an area that doesn't have a lot of competition. So, at least outside of Microsoft. But I guess I did a lot of work with SharePoint Dev for about a decade. And then as that wasn't such a big item anymore, I kind of looked and saw Power BI. And just like when I attacked SharePoint a decade before, it was a environment for non-developers. But I figure if I kind of dug in and kind of saw the development side, that I could basically create some expertise there. And so I started working with Power BI embedding, doing classes on it, through critical path training, doing a bunch of conference talks, and then it so happened that Microsoft made me a job offer earlier this
Oh
year,
yeah,
and now I'm joined up with Microsoft, and I'm part of the Power BI Cat team.
yeah.
So that's very exciting, and I work alongside of many of the people who've been on this show, between Matthew Roach and Adam Saxton and Chris Webb, and the list just kind of goes on. Casper Diarne. So it's a great place to work, and I get to work from home, which I guess I was already used to. So it's been good,
So
been very good. And, working with enterprise customers on, kind of large scale Power BI embedding implementations. So,
yeah, you have a lot of hands-on experience also.
yeah, I'm seeing some, really, Power BI, tested at scale. It's a good opportunity for me to kind of be working on lots of places, where it's not, when I was an independent, working with companies that had 17 users, and all of a sudden, hey, we got 43,000
Oh,
users, this data model better work pretty well. So, that type of transition has been really
yeah.
good.
So getting Power BI out to the masses.
That's right. And the developer story, that I guess that's what we're here to talk about today, where so much of Power BI and the Power Platform is you don't need a developer. You're going to be able to do great stuff. Oh, but by the way, if you hit this wall, there is a developer side. So with Power BI embedding, while Power BI gives you simple copy and paste a URL, for publish to web or secure embedding, if as a developer you kind of embrace this idea that I'm going to be writing code, you're able to program against two APIs. There's an API in the back end, the Power BI Service API, and then a JavaScript library, which is the Power BI JavaScript API. And you're going to write code to automatically take, any type of report or dashboard and embed it in your custom web application. So companies that have, their own portals, with lots of customers and nothing to do with Microsoft accounts or licensing, and we want to serve up reports to them. So Power BI embedding just opens a whole, big world of, having Power BI and the report design, bottling up reports and plugging it into a website and having a great experience to both view and edit. It's a great platform for that. So we're starting to get some, really sizable volumes in some, ISVs and different enterprise customers now.
Nice, and that's what we are doing for the quiz today. So let's start with have a look at the prizes. We have the grand prize. It's a $100 gift card to Lego.com. And then we have the raffle prize for one lucky attendee. It's a voucher to Radacat Academy for 1 month free.
That's Resurad training. That's top
Oh
notch.
yeah, and there's more and more training on the Radacat Academy on different topics. So let's have a look at the prices. Or actually, let's start at looking at some advertising for some free training also. This is the Power BI
Here's
Dev
something
Camp.
that, well, we just, one of my things that I've done inside of Microsoft is just to start a monthly webinar series, which is Power BI Dev Camp. So we just had our first session last week. You can kind of see the thing on the left there, developing for Power BI with .NET Core. There's another one next month, another one next month. So we're kind of doing it the last Thursday of the month, except for November and December, where we got to do it on a different Thursday. But click on that one on the left, developing for Power BI. So if you go to powerbidevcamp.net, go ahead and click on that and navigate. Here's the session that we did. Here's what you're going to learn. If you want things like the PowerPoint slide deck or the tutorial, which is a 40-page Word document, which steps you through, an end-to-end, basically build a .NET Core application that does Power BI embedding from the ground up and using it, .NET Core and using TypeScript, so using kind of leading edge stuff. So for people who are into, development of Power BI, this is just a resource. And next month, we're going to do the same thing with getting started with Power BI PowerShell. The week after that, we're going to drill down onto the Power BI JavaScript API, the client-side code.
Wow.
So once again, just something I started with in Microsoft, just free training once a month. We'll pick a good topic and drill down into it.
Wow.
So thanks very much for spending the time so I could tell people about it.
Very, very nice. And if you can also just link get your developers going to this resource. If you're not thinking you can do it yourself, then this is a really great resource for your developers in your company or external. Yeah. So getting back to the prizes, we have the Red Hat Academy prize. Where there's a lot of training, and then we have the $100 gift card to Lego.com as the grand prize. Here are some of the things you can buy. Last week we had Benny as the winner. I don't know yet what he have bought, but yeah, maybe this summer fun water park. Yeah, and
things people can't do without.
Oh yeah.
Very important merchandise here.
And then we have to pick the winner for last week. So the raffle prize for last week. And here we can see that Benny was the top scorer last week. He got 7 correct answers. And then actually there's only 30 points between Donald and Benny last week. We had a turnaround in the last question where Benny got on top. And also T. Lanza was with them. And then the list goes down. And I have assigned every attendee from last week with a random number. And Ted, now you should help me with picking a number from 1 to 32.
Let's pick 21.
21. That's your mental age, right?
No, that's because 2021 will be a much better year than 2020.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And let's see, who is the lucky winner? Oh, it's T. Lanza. So congratulations on winning the raffle prize for last week, which was also a gift card to redhat.com or the academy at Red Hat. So congratulations to you. And now for the quiz, today's quiz. We have some basic information here. You will see your questions on the monitor, and then you will have to go to kahoot.it on your mobile device or secondary monitor. Just have 2 different screens, so it will be a lot easier for you. And then you will put in a pin, game pin, that we will show you shortly, and then put in your nickname, your full name or Twitter handle, a name that we can recognize you if you win the raffle prize and don't attend the week after. And then also be aware that we have this 3 to 5 seconds delay, so you will have to wait for the questions and also answer before the timer runs out. So if you have a 30-second timer, then you'll actually only have 25 seconds. So please bear in mind, because if you don't answer before the timer runs out, then you won't get any points. And speaking of points, we'll start with one start question that's not awarded any points, so that you can see and start filling out how this Kahoot quiz is. And then we have these 10 real questions that Ted delivered to us, and I can I have seen them, and I can say that some of them are pretty tricky, and that's also how it should be with this topic. And you will get more points the faster you answer, and you should also be aware that all results are posted publicly afterwards on in a Power BI report. So that's the rules. Let's start the quiz. And here we go. So here you have the game pen. And let's see people joining in. We have Benny, Kyle, T-Lance is with us today again.
Good.
Donald. So, nearly 30 people joining in. I can see we have 34 watchers right now. 32 have joined the quiz. And just let us start, and you can always join later. We have the game pen shown throughout the show. So let's start with the first question. Do you have hands-on experience with Power BI Embedded or Power BI Embedding? Let's see. And we have 32. So we have 80 of the 32 who have actually some experience. Does this surprise you, Ted?
No, it does not. I think the developer in our society is a unique person who's not represented huge enough. But this is pretty good. Yeah. You know, what do we have? 25% of our people said I've done development work. So I'm happy with that.
And also, there's a great lot of learning for you who don't have experience, and you can always guess on the answers. Or maybe you have gone out and read up on the resources before the quiz. Let's have the first. It's a true false. So when developing an application with the user-owns data model, all users will always require a Power BI Pro license. Is that true or false? And any comments on this, Ted?
Well, the idea of the question is that you have to pay Microsoft if you're going to serve up data with Power BI embedding, and one way is to have every user have their own Power BI Pro license, and then you can access content no matter where it is. But if your company buys a dedicated capacity, Power BI Premium, then you can serve up content to Power BI free license users. So you do not need a pro license is the answer.
Yeah. Let's see the leaderboard. Oh yeah. So we have Brian C. Lee, and he did it fastest, and then he's on top. Let's have the next question. Which of the following statement is false about implementing app-owns data using service principal? So service principal is quite new or method?
It's a little over a year, about a year and a half when it came into preview. So been around for...
Yeah. So not that new. So you have 60 seconds to this one because there's so much text to read. And we have 27, 29 answers. And let's see the right one. So Ted, why is the blue one?
Well, so which of the following statements, is false about implementing app-owns data by calling to the Power BI service using the service principal? So I wanted to throw out 3 that are true and important. When in production, the application has to use embed tokens, and they can't use Azure AD tokens of something like the master user account. Number C, when embedding reports with row level security, you have to have an embed token that has to have a role inside of it, otherwise you will fail. And the last one, the current tenant must be configured to allow service principals to be able to call the Power BI service APIs. So those are all true. So then the red herring we threw in there is, in development, your application must use Azure AD tokens in the browser instead of embed tokens, which is not true. Very geeky answer.
Well, thank you for the explanation. Let's see now. And now we have a new one on top. So until now we have 4 people answering both of the 2 first questions correct. Let's have the next question. Question number 3. True or false? And this is true or false, so you only have 20 seconds to answer here. Yeah.
Got a good split there. Now, why is it false? This is a little bit of a trick question, because Power BI embedding requires an API that's available in the Power BI service, but was never added to Power BI report server. All the web services that are built into Power BI report server are just the older SQL Server reporting services, APIs that were kind of, evolved into, what is Power BI report server. So they don't really support it. It's a trick question, and I apologize, to those for giving you a trick question.
Yeah. So, but normally you will require a premium to get Power BI report server. Yeah.
I mean, Power BI report server, does give you a way to embed a report in a browser page, but it's kind of a passive copy and paste code. There's no JavaScript APIs where now you can start, interacting with that report from client-side code, which is the really powerful thing about the Power BI JavaScript API, and it's just not supported to any degree in Power BI report server.
But then on the other hand, you have the APIs if you deploy your paginated reports onto Power BI service.
Yeah, well, you can take paginated reports and deploy them into the Power BI service, up in the cloud, and you can embed those, but that's kind of taking your paginated reports and kind of pulling them out of Power BI report server, that on-premises thing that, doesn't offer as much as the cloud thing, and then pushing them to the Power BI service where all of a sudden, you can use, all the Power BI embedding support for paginated reports. Exactly right.
Yeah. So we have T. Lanza, Andy Parkinson, and Rishi all have the correct answers on the 3 first questions. Let's have question number 4.
Okay, which client-side event fires when a user invokes a custom context menu item? This is one of those things you've either been there or you haven't, and if you haven't been there, you got a 25% chance.
Oh yeah.
So,
but this is one of the actually cool features of Power BI Embedded, that you can actually customize the context menu.
Let's see if we get.
A lot of people guessed, but a lot of people also guessed wrong.
Okay, and I think this is actually incorrect. So the correct answer is command triggered.
Oh, no.
I think there's an issue here. I'm not sure how to
No, we can't.
work that out, in real time.
We can't edit it in
You
real
know, but
time.
command triggered is the correct answer.
Oh no. Then we have 8 people
Oh,
don't
well.
getting points for this. Oh.
But then, in football, if the ref makes a call, it's not the right call, but that's the way the game turned out. I mean, you could just go with the flow.
Yeah. And it could be my fault when I imported the question into Kahoot. So apologies for this. And then go to the leaderboard. Yeah, people are saying, let's challenge it.
Oh, we're a
I'll go for
litigious
WA
society.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for that one. And now we have Mania on top. Let's have the next question. And here we have double points.
How do you move a data set to a new workspace using the Power BI Service API?
And this one, there's only one of the option that is true. You could think that there was more than one that was true, but there's only one of them.
Well, there's the answer. So the correct answer is that you have to export, the data set as a PBX file and then import it. So using the exports API together with the imports API is the correct answer. One thing I did to kind of throw people off was the last answer using the new API support by the Power BI deployment pipelines. So Power BI deployment pipelines can move a data set from one workspace to another, but there are no APIs yet.
Not yet. Oh.
Yes, that's something we're working on. Hopefully, over the next semester or two, having better ways to programmatically, move data sets so we don't have to use exports and imports.
Yeah. It kind of doesn't make sense that you have to pull it out to import it again. But if we get the APIs to the Power BI deployment pipeline, that would be great.
Right, and there's also, another area just as a tangent here is that, Microsoft opening up the XMLA endpoint to developers and having Power BI models, also opens up the possibilities about it, how you might duplicate, a data set programmatically.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole new API. I can't say I've mastered it yet, but I know that there's a lot of capabilities over there as well.
Yeah, and that's not a new API because the XMLA endpoint is using the TOM model that's been around for years. So there's a lot of examples of that stuff out on the web also.
Yes, exactly.
Let's see the leaderboard now. So we have Mania on top still, but it's really close on the top 3 here. Let's have the next question. And here we have multi-select.
Which of the following behaviors can be achieved using what we in Power BI Embedding called phased embedding?
And here there can be 1 correct answer, 2, 3, or all 4. So you never know.
I like the way the scoring works. So if you get 2 right, you get some. If all 4 are correct and you answer all 4, you get maximum points. But if you get 1 wrong, you get 0.
Oh yeah. So read the answers carefully before you submit. And also here you should be aware that after you clicked, you should click on submit in the button. So it's not enough just to click on the answers. And we have all answers now.
All answers except for Number 2, blue. So which of the following behaviors can be achieved? The idea of phased embedding is you tell, through an API call that load the report in, but don't show it yet. Let me get an event handler so I can run just a little bit of code just before we show it to the user. So phased embedding is commonly used to set the page, set a filter, apply a bookmark, and then the report gets shown. But it does not optimize page load times. It just kind of gives you more control at the very end before the report is rendered.
Oh yeah. Let's see, and here you could actually get 3,000 points if you get all correct, so this could change a lot. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That was a big boost.
Oh yeah. That is with these multiple choice because you can get so many points. So yeah. Let's have the next question. And one more time, multi-select. So how can a developer get access to the data behind a Power BI report which is built on an imported dataset? And you have 60 seconds here. 15 to go. And yeah, so only one correct here.
Okay. So I guess this is a bit of a trick question too, because the first three, dataset.getData or table.getRows, don't really exist in either the client side or the server side APIs, nor does report get data. And it's one of the things that developers, kind of want to just see the data behind a report, but really the only thing we have the ability to do is to see the data behind a visual. So if you had, let's say you had a Power BI report that had 4 tables and you wanted to be able to pull out data from those 4 tables, I just, basically put a table visual, for each one of those on the report. So then my JavaScript code can get to that visual, and there's an export command that just kind of spits the data out in CSV file format. But it's not that intuitive, but there is a way to kind of pull the data out, or to export data on a visual by visual basis.
Yeah, so you actually just create a ghost table to get access to the data.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can hide it so users don't see it, but still make it possible to pull it out.
And make a button to export or something like that. Yeah, let's see the leaderboard now. And it didn't change anything, so none of the top 5 get this one correct. Maybe because people are actually taking 2 answers and there was only 1 correct. So
yeah, that's right.
Let's have the next one. Number 9, also multi-select.
Which of the following behaviors can be implemented with the Power BI JavaScript API? Okay, embedding an existing report for viewing, embedding an existing report in edit mode to allow customization, embedding a new report in edit mode to allow customization, and the ability to programmatically add pages and visuals to an existing report or a new report.
And here again, multi-select, so there can be 1, 2, 3, or 4 correct answers.
Hopefully we'll get a leader change here. Make it a little exciting.
Yeah. I will assume that. And here we go.
And they're all correct. So if you marked all 4, that's a lot of points. Let's see if we have a leaderboard change now.
Oh yeah, so this is all 4 really great example of what you can actually achieve with embedding. It's not just showing a report, you can actually also giving people the possibility to customize or add visuals or pages. You can do a whole lot of stuff with these embedding APIs. So let's see. And we have T. Lancer on top. He has been on the leaderboard for quite some time now. Andy Pattison is also on top with Benny and Witchmania and Amadeo from Italy. So let's have the next question. That's number 9. True or false?
False. And we seem to have most people with the wrong answer there. But before we had embed a visual, you could always use a custom report page layout. So the idea of a custom report page layout is with Power BI, it doesn't load the whole report, but it loads page by page. So if you had a page and you had a custom layout, you could take 4 visuals and say, I don't want to show 1 and 3. I do want to show 2 and 4, and here's why I want to put them on the page. So custom layouts were tricky. So now they have an approach where you embed a visual, but it just creates a custom layout behind the page. Oh. So if you embed a visual from a page that has 10 other visuals, it's not going to load very fast because it's still loading the entire report page in. So the question there is really to kind of, pass awareness that embedded visual is really a convenience, not an optimization technique.
Yeah, because if you want to optimize, then you should create pages with only one visual on and then embed them.
Exactly right.
So someone said that we should share the link for the DevCamp and the URL is powerbidevcamp.net, right?
That is correct.
So powerbidevcamp.net. That's where you can get all this free content on the subject we are having today. Yeah, let's go through the leaderboard. And T. Lancer still on top and
just by 60 points though.
Yeah. So.
Okay, this could be. We got one more question left.
One more question left, and there's double points involved there, so it could change a whole lot here. And yeah, is that course light? One person is asking. Let's get to the last question. One more time, multi-select and double points.
Which of the following are advantages of app owns data when using the service principal to connect to the Power BI Service API instead of a master user account?
So master user account, that was the old approach. Can you say that? And then service principal is the new one?
It's the old approach, and many companies have moved away from it. After the answer has been finalized by our contestants, I'll go a little bit more into some of the details of why you may need to use the master user account still.
Yeah. So, 10 seconds left. And let's see, 31 answers out of 32. And now we got them all.
Okay, we got 14 people to answer incorrectly. So just a little bit of background, we didn't have support to talk to the Power BI Service API with a service principal at the beginning of when Power BI embedding started. So we used a master user account. You create an account that was just a regular user account. You would basically give it a Power BI Pro license, and then you'd use what's called password credential authentication, where basically your code needs to authenticate with a password directly across the network, which isn't really secure. So then once we started using the service principal, you create an application and it's never tied to a human. And then when you authenticate, it's as that, that security identity. Now, if we use the service principal, you're never going to get interaction. So when you use a user account, but you're really using it as a service account because you don't really anticipate any interactive prompting. So if you use the master user account and your Azure AD application wants the current user to basically consent to permissions, your code just fails. If you're in environments where we have multi-factor authentication, every time a user logs in, they get sent a PIN code, your code just breaks there. So moving over to the service principal, is really recommended because you get rid of those problems. The other nice thing is it eliminates the need for a Power BI Pro user account because the service principal doesn't need one. Now, the one thing that we have there that's not a correct answer is the service principal can access Power BI service APIs that are not accessible to the user APIs. And that's not true. In fact, the opposite is true. So all kinds of things like if you want to, either with PowerShell or by connecting to the Power BI service, as a user, you can run as admin. So you can see all the workspaces. But when you run as service principal, you can only see workspaces that the user, the service principal has been added to as a member. So there's still a classification of APIs that you have to have a user identity, not a service principal identity to be able to use. We're trying to eliminate that gap. We're kind of making some achievements there, but there are still cases where I want to do something with an API that requires I use a master user account. So that's why we can't really just tell people never use the master user account, because it has access to more than the service principal as far as the API functionality.
Oh, okay. And let's see the leaderboard. So, number 3, Rishi with 6 out of 10 correct. Then we have Benny. And let's see. Is it T Lance? It's Amadeo M from Bologna.
Wow, look at that.
Italy.
It was a big move at the end there.
Yeah, so congratulations, but I can see there's only 9 points between Benny and Amadeo, so it was just a second before more fast on one question that actually got the win to Amadeo. Wow. Congratulations and thank you for everyone attending. Very nice. And thank you to you, Ted, for being the co-host today.
It was great. I enjoyed myself. It wasn't entirely a developer audience, so I hope it didn't come across as too scary to some people, but anything that doesn't kill you will make you stronger.
Absolutely.
So I firmly believe that.
And now you can go out and use all this free material that is on you have created. And also attend the next 2 live sessions. It's run by Microsoft Teams, I believe.
That's correct. Yeah, and I'm doing it through the MVP program. So before I joined Microsoft, I was an MVP for 15 years. So the people that are kind of helping me run the the Power BI Dev Camp are the same people that helped Reza run some a webinar a couple weeks ago as well. So
nice.
Anyway, hopefully we'll just get a lot more content between my webinars with Power BI Dev Camp and other MVPs. Just having Microsoft host those. So anyway, thank you for having me on the show. I had a great time.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And if you want to attend the quiz next week, we will have John White as the guest on the show, and it will be a quiz on SharePoint/Office. So what you can do integration in that part, and here, SharePoint is also one of your topics from the past. And
I know John very well. Yeah. I've been probably to 112 conferences in my life where John was there. So we spent a decade together doing all the SharePoint stuff. So,
but you're
very good guy, very smart.
You have it from the developer side, and John more from the business user side, I believe. So
very good.
Yeah. So thank you for attending, and thank you for your time, Ted. And have a good day.
Thanks to all. Cheers.
Bye.